The stars align, just come to me. Tarot and cosmos, your fate's inside. Danyell, Carmelita, shining bright.
Hello, welcome. It is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. How is everyone's week? This episode is always a doozy, isn't it? Well, welcome back if you are old. Welcome if you are new. I am going to talk about this week's astrology as I pull up my notes. We have a big doozy, okay? We have an Aquarius full moon. This is the last moon situation we have before eclipse season. That will be in the next video, so stay tuned for that. But this Aquarius full moon is kind of big. So stay tuned with that because it's conjunct Pluto. If I could echo my voice, I probably could on here. But Pluto is going to be sitting next to the full moon in Aquarius. So get ready for that one. We'll go over it. Today, as I am filming this live, the sun is conjunct Leo. Well, no, it's going to happen this week. But Leo, Jupiter, is opposing Pluto. Pluto's got a lot of situations this week, and Pluto is a planet of intensity, controlled power. It is in charge of telling us, controlling our speech and what we have to say on the internet. Okay. So all that is happening. So stay tuned. We're going to discuss, if you've been waiting for some clarity, some breakthroughs or confirmation that you're headed to the right direction this week, you don't want to miss. So dive in. Let's start with our beautiful timeline. Okay. On the 20th, Jupiter is going to trine Neptune. And at the same time, it's going to oppose Pluto. I've talked about this a million times. You guys, I am so hot. I need to turn the air on. I'll do that after I do the timeline. I talked about this all the time. It is forming what they call a bowl, a basket, a cradle. Okay. Now on the 21st, Jupiter is also sextile Uranus. We discussed all this last week, but I'm going to bring it back on this week. Something exciting happening with this bowl that's created, and I'll show you what it looks like. If you're listening, I'm going to explain it my best way. The sun is going to enter Leo. Okay. So happy solar return to all my Leos. And yes, you're on stage. Duh, that's very important for Leos, okay? Everyone pay attention to Leos, but we still have until the 21st, which is tomorrow. It's still Cancer season, okay? Anyway, but July 23rd, what I was going to say is the sun will enter Leo. And once it enters Leo, it's going to be entering that party of that pattern, which I would discuss for everyone who doesn't know astrology. Anyway, but also this week we have Mercury is going to station direct. That is in itself. All of my Taurus risings, if you have been going through it, okay, because that is in your third house, Cancer, and that being in your third house and retrograding at the same time, I am sorry, okay? And everyone who's been arguing with their mother, it's going to get better. Driving with your mother, that situation, all that's going to get better. That's July 23rd. We'll get more detailed on that, okay? Venus is going to sextile Mercury on the 24th. Pluto is sextile Neptune already. We'll discuss that. It becomes more official on the 24th. That's part of that bowl that we are discussing. And also on the 26th, this is where the sun in Leo starts to play. Even though once it enters Leo, it's going to play, okay? Sun entering Leo this year is going to be quite different for everyone who normally has a great time during Leo season. I'll explain that anyway, but the sun entering Leo immediately is going to happen on the 26th, not when the sun enters Leo, but immediately is going to have that opposition with Pluto and Aquarius. I will talk about that. Saturn is going to station retrograde. Isn't that great? Kind of is. There's no boundaries. We'll see how the government is operating. Okay. Now, here's something that's really a big doozy this week, which I should have put in my opening. The North Node and the South Node are changing signs. The North Node will enter Aquarius. The South Node will enter in Leo. And this is where we get the new tea on different eclipses and themes that are happening for the year. I have a video on this already. I'll link it down. I'm doing this live, so after I do the live, I'll remember to link it. If not, it is called the North Node and South Node, and I talk about it in Aquarius and Leo. Anyway, July 27th, the sun will trine Neptune. It's still a part of this bowl and pattern, and it's going to sextile Uranus. I feel like I'm being redundant, but a lot of you guys, you want the official day, so there you go. Now, here's something different, though. July 29th, Venus is going to be in Virgo. It's going to square Mars in Gemini. That doesn't make me excited. No, that's not it. Where's the set? Oh, here we go. A climax and a sad thing at the same time. The sun is going to conjunct Jupiter officially on the 29th. At the same time, we have the full moon in Aquarius. That's why the Aquarius full moon is going to be very interesting. Okay, now for everyone, this is where we pass the collection plate. If you're familiar with church, okay, and this is where I tell you, if you really love astrology, you love forecasts, it's time to do your share. Okay, pretend the gospel music is in the background and the choir is swaying side to side. If you like this video, then it's time to thumbs up. If you love astrology, if you love predictions, if you love forecasts, then it's time to thumbs up this video. If you're really in love with it and you're like, I want to keep this going, I want to give Danyell her flowers, you can literally give me my flowers by putting a flower emoji in the comment box. Okay, you can subscribe, you can share, you can download this podcast. Okay, this is someone who loves astrology, someone who loves tarot, someone who wants to know what is the current vibe in the sky. Okay, leave a comment. What are you ready to release under this Aquarius full moon? What future are you intentionally building? Aquarius represents the future, if you didn't know. If you like more exclusive content, I have it just for you. Okay, I have a community. It is monthly subscription. I know I'm one of those people who are like, I don't want to sign up monthly. How about you give it a try for 30 days and see if you love it? Right now, they already have the forecast, the predictions, the best date to throw a party, the best day to go on a date, the best date to do something business wise. They already have that for August. So go ahead. I also a big conspiracy theorist. So a lot of videos on that, but I also have a lot of things you can learn about your personal natal chart. If you're just here to know about astrology, all that is in my exclusive community. It is cheaper than a price of coffee. Go ahead and try it anyway. But other than that, thank you for being here. Welcome to the party. All right. We are going to start the video. I finished collecting the plate. We collected the bowl. We have the money. I'll send it to the congregation to count the cash. Okay. Yeah. But also too, I have a tip jar down there too. So if you're just like, you know what, I love it, tip jar, go ahead and do the tip jar. Now let's start on the transits we have starting July 20th. I really want to talk about this bowl, this cradle. If you guys see it here, can you see what I see? Yes. Okay, so I want to really talk about this cradle. This is the cradle here. This is the opposition between Pluto and Jupiter. This is all the other planets that's involved with it. The sun's not involved yet. Mercury's not involved yet. Mars is not involved. But all these other, let me actually take it off so you can see what I am talking about. Here is the beautiful design. Do you see that? That is what I'm talking about. That is the ball that we have going on this week. And guess what? The sun is going to turn into Leo later on this week, and now we'll enter the party. And then also, not necessarily, but then the North Node and the South Node, they change sign. So then they enter the party. And then here's the full moon. It's not in this chart right now that you're seeing, but it will enter Aquarius, and then that will enter the party. The North and South Node won't really enter the party, but I just want you to know that we'll be changing signs. So you get the visual aid. If you are listening to this, what we are looking at is a bowl pattern on an astrology chart, and a natal chart, not a natal chart, an astrology chart. The vibe in the sky. We're looking at what the planets are looking like, and for some reason, God has decided to create a bowl. Some people call it a cradle. Some people call it a basket. Bowl, basket. What else do they call it? I'm trying to think of all the terms. I can't think of it now, but that is what we have. And it's creating this pattern. And usually when it creates a pattern, this creates a pattern that we have seen throughout history. That's why astrologers love a pattern. Okay. Also, but, well, not also. With that said, This pattern involves a very special planet. Dum, 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 dum. That special planet is Uranus. Whenever Uranus is involved, you can expect the unexpected. So, can we predict what will happen? Maybe not, okay? But you can get the vibe, the themes, okay? I can give you what may involve, but there's something new involved here because Uranus is expected unexpected. Uranus is also really involving the intellect, communication, space, okay? Also too, it made me just think just now. I was listening to the news. It's a podcast that I listen to. And they were talking about that something happened in war and we lost 2 American soldiers. One was 19, and I felt like this has something to do with this. I don't know why, but that's what I feel like because we have Neptune retrograding in Aries, even though Saturn is also in Aries, but a death, especially the death of a youth. Anyway, so I need to do a video on the news, the current events, and bring that to the forefront. But right now, we'll just talk about the transits of the week. So I won't bore you because I know a lot of people may not like the news. I love current events. I like to throw it in. Also, too, something that's very interesting that happened this week, maybe a few days ago. Also, too, people are getting caught in the government. Okay, they're getting caught gambling, and that's coming to the limelight. Okay, trade behind the scenes. This could be something dealing with this energy. I'm not sure. I have to do more research on that, but I discovered that and I was just like, my spidey senses are figuring like, okay. Also, too, I do want you to know that this is dealing with moolah, the money, this opposition. Okay, because it wants power and control. And usually, how do you have power and control? That's involving money. Okay, running on a tangent, let's focus. Okay, I want to talk about this opposition and then we'll talk about the rest that's forming outside of the opposition. The opposition that I want to talk about is Jupiter opposing Pluto that is retrograding in Leo. This normally means a power test. Now, a lot of power, control, authority is involved with this placement. Jupiter wants more, Pluto wants control. Pluto retrogrades in Aquarius. And so, what does it want to control? Anything Aquarius themes, darling. That is the power of the people, the power of the voice, the power of the intellect, the power of the internet, the power of social media, the power of the planes and the sky and the space, and the power of the future. Okay. Together, they create this tug of war between greatness, personal greatness, that Leo energy. Who has strong Leo placements? Trump. Leo also represents any kind of leader. So there is that. But then that personal greatness is going against the collective greatness, which is dealing with Aquarius. Okay. Jupiter expands whatever it touches, while Pluto exposes motives, obsessions, and power dynamics. That's why I was like, this pattern could be dealing with the politicians getting caught gambling, okay? Because there was a politician, he wasn't necessarily a politician, but someone behind the camera, very Neptune, behind the camera, and he was in charge of the teleprompter, and he would do bets on the speech that Trump would give out right before Trump would give the speech and make money. We already know about the Paluzzi. I wish I had a picture of her and how she makes her money, but they were saying that she even knew JD Vance was going to be vice president, and so she put some gambling bets out and made some money. Okay, this is what I just heard this on a podcast. Very interessante, I must say. But this opposition, back to the story at hand. Just wanted to give you the tea. Okay, this opposition here alone, we're ignoring these planets because I want to simplify it. But this opposition of Jupiter and Leo opposing Pluto retrograding in Aquarius, which happens today in 4 degrees. 4 degrees is a Cancer degree that represents your comfort, your emotions, your security, your home, your mother, your past. Okay, anyway, back to this, not back, but with that said, there's extreme material ambition, there's extreme spiritual ambition, okay, wanting to leave a legacy, a desire for influence, recognition, and greatness, feeling moral superior or high and mighty, overly confident here, okay, power struggles with authorities, temptation to manipulate or abuse power, obsession with success, status, or being remembered. That is what we get. Get ready for that. If you already haven't been seeing it with the collective or individually or with other people, why do you want more? Why can't you just say serve a greater purpose? Why are you so obsessed with power? Okay. Here's some interesting things that's working with this obsession with power, right? Jupiter is trining Neptune, so it can do it secretly. Instead of chasing success for validation, though, does the dream align with your soul? Are you fulfilling your are following your intuition? Is your vision inspired by a purpose? Okay, but this does give the ability of someone to create and to hide the obsession with power. There is that. Jupiter is also sextile Uranus. This is where things become different. You can do things differently. You can have some breakthroughs. You can have some innovative ideas, maybe some lucky breakthroughs, sudden opportunities, unexpected mentors, technology advancements, freedom from old limitations. Listen here. From what I've learned so far with bold patterns, it seems very optimistic. At the same time, how can we ignore this opposition here? Okay, so maybe this bold could be working for a higher power or someone who's obsessed with power, because usually the collective is not obsessed with power. It usually wants its freedom. But there is an obsession of power. So maybe this is going to be a beginning or a start or some type of situation, I don't know other than starting, of the power that be having some control. Everyone keep your eyes open, stay woke, pay attention to what's going on or what's been happening this week since Jupiter has entered Leo. Let's see what's happening with the power control, okay? And then we're going to remember this video. We're going to come back and revisit it. I'll remember and we'll connect it to some future things happening, okay? I'm getting phone calls. Let me see. Okay, now let's go on because there's more to this opposition here. While Jupiter is opposing Pluto, Pluto has great business with Uranus. So it really can be transformative and innovative. There's AI and technology, communication, the higher intellect, transportation, social movement, social media, new ways of thinking. All that is working together while you're obsessed with power, okay? Or the intensity of power, the intensity of controlling speech, or the intensity of and the obsession with controlling the future, okay? Pluto is also sextile Neptune and Aries. So I want you to understand, anyone who's trying to have power, I'm just going to put this in a nutshell, they're able to do it. They're able to do it secretly, maybe pretend to have compassion. Maybe they do have compassion. Maybe they're following their intuition. Maybe their transformation is happening through faith. Maybe there's leadership with integrity, or an illusion that it has integrity. Okay. Now, on the flip side of it being that you're obsessed with power and you're trying to have control and you're trying to control what people are saying, we'll put that over there. On a positive side, let's say there is this obsession with power happening. If you are not focused on the power, if you find balance between yourself and being on stage and yourself versus the we, the I versus we, okay, if you find some type of balance between that, this will really work for you this going week with being compassionate, following your intuition, being creative, being innovative, using your intellect, having some social dynamic along with that. That will work, but you need to find a balance because this is an opposition and you need to find harmony between this opposition, okay? Leaderships rising are being challenged, power struggles between governments, corporations, and influential figures, AI, breakthroughs, education, media, airplanes, all that, social media, because we are dealing with this Uranus and Gemini, even the power of word, any type of form of communication, there's some improvements. Spiritual faith, Neptune also again represents war, secret wars, behind the war, the secret leader kind of situation, but public debates as well happening here about wealth, influence, ethics, and leadership. A lot of interesting things with money here. But personally, am I building a legacy or chasing validation? Am I leading with integrity? Is my ambition aligned with my values? How can I use my influence to uplift others rather than simply elevate myself? Okay. So, the main gist of the week, because a lot of the planets that a lot of the aspects that I've discussed this week, okay? And I won't probably go over them because I've already just did. I'll go over the other ones, okay? But major theme of this week, I want you guys to try not to be showboaty, okay? And I'll reread the stuff that I had at the beginning. I want you to not try to extremely get material. Focus on not having the material. Focus on not being extreme when it comes to spirituality. Focus on, well, not focus, but let go of having this legacy. Okay. Even let go of trying to be great, of trying to have this status, of trying to, status is more of a Capricorn word, but just everyone look at me, everyone recognize me. I want all the power, all the authority, all the leadership. Now, if you do that, things will work out great, okay? Feeling moral, superior, or high and mighty. Reduce that, okay? Reduce the confidence. Let's have a little, let's be very, I can't say the word humility. Power struggles with authorities. That, I, I like to tussle a little bit. So I'm going to let that one slide. If you have some power struggles here, go ahead, fight for the people. That could be happening. But I really want everyone to, as a collective and individually, try to not be obsessed with success, your status, or trying to be remembered. Let's chill on that, rest, and work on compassion, love, and your intuition. Work on being innovative and creative. Work on working with the people in the collective. Okay? So I said it. There we go. Now we are going to move on to what else is happening this week. Let me see. Inspired leaders can emerge, advance in creative industries. There could be a film, which we had the Odyssey come out. That could be happening because this represents a new film, right? Music, entertainment, spiritual, and humanitarian movements can gain momentum. Positive developments involving education and international affairs. Also, who is this going to be affecting? Again, I said this last week, everyone. We got the fire signs, we got the air signs happening, hugely going to be affecting you. So my Aries, my Leos, my Sagittarius, also my Aquarius, also my Geminis and Libras. Huge positive energy for you. Water, not that much with this placement, but we have some other things that are happening for you guys. Okay. So, but this will be affecting the collective in a major way. So, everyone keep their eyes out. Let me see. Career breakthroughs after a power struggle, questioning who has influence over your life, breaking free from unhealthy dynamics, increase ambition. Political power struggles here, corporate shakeups, celebrity headlines. Again, debates, maybe over AI technology, the sky, the airplane, social media, financial market, or even within your community. Leadership changes could be happening here. Again, going to be affecting my Leos. I don't know if I said that. All my fire signs, my Aries. What other fire sign? At Sagittarius, going to be affecting you guys too in a good way, but very interesting. I hate that word, interesting. But interessante. On the 21st, Jupiter sextile Uranus. That is again with that bowl, but I'm just going to throw that out here. That is innovative, creates opportunity. This is great time to have a new business idea, a viral content, career breakthroughs, exciting friendships, learning new skills, sudden travel opportunities, technology. It could benefit or really work your way. So that could be happening. Again, AI will be improving with that sextile. Sextile means opportunities here, but this opportunity is built with a lot of other things too. So just be aware of that. Now on July 22nd, that is when we have the sun entering Leo. Happy solar return. Like I said, Leo represents as a collective. Okay. Major themes of Leo: your confidence, your leadership, your creativity, being recognized, being seen, being appreciated, celebrated for your talents, being authentic, living unapologetically. That's why I love Leo season. Okay. Being generous too is you're wearing your heart on your sleeve. There's joy, there's play, you're embracing fun, laughter, romance. Okay. You're doing those hobbies. If you want to crochet, if you want to pull out the Cricut, those are like my little creative hobbies. Okay. But just like childlike wonder, there's courage, you're taking bold action despite of fear, there's legacy, there's heart centered living, dealing with the children. Children is a major theme. Influencers is a major theme too. Leo season is going to have a huge theme this year, okay? Because we have the South Node entering Leo, this is going to be big. The Sun conjunct Jupiter. Leo season this year, huge, 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 because the Sun will be touching Jupiter. It's going to be opposing Pluto. Then it's going to be touching the South Node eventually. Get ready. There are some positivities during Leo season, and Leo will be touching Saturn, highlighting some major themes that's happening in the government could be doing some great things when it comes to control, leadership. Control is not the word, just having leadership and power. So there is that. But wherever the Sun does it, whatever it involves in the sky, whatever it touches, it highlights these things, so we'll be able to see. Okay. Do the eyes like this, okay? Being woke kind of energy, whatever is happening with the government or any type of boundaries or restriction, that will be happening during Leo season. Also, Leo immediately, the Sun, once it enters Leo, it's also going to be having positivity with things that are behind the scenes. If you want to be deceptive, secretive. Now, Neptune's retrograding now, not working as best, so you may not be secretive. There may be some things that we really can't see in that skeleton of a closet. So that could be happening, especially when they're dealing with war or entrepreneurs or someone who's starting something new or someone who's very ambitious or anger. That's very Aries. Okay, so that's also happening. I'm going to talk about the Sun opposing Pluto later. I just want to make sure I have all my Leo seasoning, my Leo season happening. I'm stepping into a spotlight, greater confidence, more creativity, desire for recognition, motivation to be a leader. Again, a lot of focus on children, hobbies, and passions. Collectively, as the world, mundane, okay? We are talking about entertainment. It's going to dominate the headlines. Also, anything dealing with sports, okay? That's going to get more attention. Celebrity news, national pride. That happens during Leo season, and leadership announcements, all that. Who loves Leo season? Leo season works really good with all my Aries placements. It works really good with all my Sagittarius placements. Leo season does not work good for any Aquarius placements, okay? You're like, what the hell? No one, there is always some opposition against me. Try to find some harmony with that. Leo season does not work well with um I'm drawing a blank. Scorpios doesn't work best with Scorpios. Does not work best with Taurus as well. Okay, all of my fixed signs. You guys, if you have any placements in those Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, won't. Not the best, but the Sun moves fast. It changes every day, so you'll be fine. Another thing we have that's happening July 23rd is that Mercury is going to stop retrograding. Yay! That is so exciting. I have some comments. Let me see here. Hello, Sandra. You're live. Says you're coming on. Why? Oh, you know what? I need to do better with that. I just put a random time and day when it says I'm going to be live, and I just throw it up there. I need to put the current time that I'm going to be live. I'll do better with that. Thank you, Sandra. And I also have another comment on here, but it's spam. So I'm just going to ignore that comment. But hello, fear some hanging. Ever since I joined Twitch, I've been getting more spam in the comments, but it is what it is. Thank you for being here live. Now, I want to talk about Mercury that is going to stop retrograding. We'll still be in a post shadow phase, but clarity returns. Okay. Mercury begins moving forward, and this is going to happen for several weeks of reviewing. About 2 weeks. Personal predictions. Decisions become clearer and easier. Miscommunications resolve. If you've been having a problem with travel, your cars, your moms, things from the past, tech issues, family conversations, contracts, that starts to move forward. Okay. The government could be making some announcements about homeland and security and transportations, and businesses could be moving some projects forward. News stories can gain some clarity. A lot of people who've been feeling this already, I said Taurus risings because it's been in your third house, but all of my Cancers, my Capricorns, my Aries, my Libras, you guys have been feeling this for sure. Okay. Things get better for you. All of my water signs, Pisces and Scorpios, you guys have been having some things being repeated, and it actually been a blessing for you. So good for you. Also too, I want to say that Venus is on the 24th. Where is my Venus here? Why am I okay? Venus is in Virgo and it's sextile Mercury this week. This is great because this is where your heart meets practicality, having an honest conversation in a relationship, having some budgeting, planning, family harmony, decorating the home and organizing the home, better communication with loved ones. This is a great day to do that. Now, publicly, some announcements. There could be something with women's health, education, and wellness conversations. But this is an opportunity here to really get that nice conversation that brings charming pleasantry out and maybe having a discussion at a party, or maybe there's a transaction financially that really works out. Okay. Especially when it comes to your home. So, really good for that. Now, Pluto is going to retrograde. Its sextile officially hits that 20 degrees there. This is when it officially hits, and that alone is opportunity for transformation and transforming the future. Is that what I want to say? I won't say that. I think it's transformation because this represents transformation in faith, in spirituality. Okay, a spiritual awakening, deep healing, breaking old psychological patterns, embracing new technology, finding your purpose. A lot of involvement in evolution with AI, the opportunities out there, science breakthroughs. There could be a collective healing, social reform. Yeah, but great for technology and starting something new with technology or having a secret love affair. No. I just think Neptune is always behind the wall, secretly doing stuff. And I just say love because I just think of the internet. People are like doing, back in the day when I first got the internet, I always thought that people were doing, what are those things? When they would be in a room, chat rooms. So I just think secret love affair. But no, I take that back. Secret building a transformation for something new in a works. That's more what we can say that works really well. Okay. Now, July 26th is when we have the sun, but I didn't say once the sun enter Leo, this is what's going to happen. This is what we're going to have. The sun now officially is entering the party of the four. Bam, 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 bam. Okay. That happens. It officially happens Monday, but you know, I want you to understand you're going to be feeling this a lot earlier. The sun opposing Pluto, it starts to enter that bowl pattern that I discussed before. But let's just focus on this opposition. And the opposition of the sun and Pluto, this is a lot of power struggles. There could be identity shifts here, leadership being tested, breakthroughs after releasing control, relationship intensity. Oh my gosh. Let me pull up my book that I love to use, and we're going to look up the sun and Pluto and see what else we have here. See if it says something that I didn't think of already. We have ruthless and driving nature, urges to dominate, and again, power control others, a willful flaunting of sexuality, are one's sexual and shadow energies. Okay, everyone get off the secret websites. Okay, obsessive self-expression and self-celebration. Didn't I say the major theme of this week is all about not being obsessed with you? Okay, the sun's coming into the party, be like, yes, you guys, let's be obsessed with ourselves. It's all about me and all about you. Well, control that, okay? Because that's what that book is saying. That's going to happen. Of course, there's opportunity to make sure that happens. Like you can be on the internet and you're like, oh my gosh, I just got this new website or this new app that helps me posting that's really all about me. And it's like, not the time. So be aware of that, okay? Now, who is this going to be affecting? The sun highlights anything that's very taboo, the power of the people, all that. Be aware of that. And this could be the people really having some issues with the leader or the ego. That could be happening. Now, the same day that that's happening, Saturn stops retrograding, okay, at 14 degrees. Which is wait, no, it starts retrograding. Because I'm like, wait, no. It starts retrograding at 14 degrees. So again, the government is not governmenting, okay? It's not setting boundaries. They're delayedness. Things are not moving slow. There aren't long-term consequences. Get ready for these things happening. A lot of leadership and karma. The karma is not coming back. People are not learning our lessons. All that starts to happen. Now, retrogrades means is either stops working or things become more internal and there's a lot of repetition. So the government is not doing the government's job. And we start to see it, we start to review it, we start to replay it, we start to retest it, we remember the things that it was supposed to do. So there's that. Or there was boundaries that used to be set. Now the boundaries are gone and we have to reset those boundaries. There's a lesson that you didn't learn. There's karma that you didn't learn. And Saturn is like, you know what? Let's redo that because you didn't learn it the first time. So all that is happening, okay? Things start to move a little faster when Saturn is retrograding because Saturn likes to move very slow, likes to delay, and likes to restrict, and a restriction starts to be released. That starts to happen, okay? Now, also to the north and the south node has entered the building. The north node has entered Aquarius, and the south node has entered Leo. Major collective themes about becoming the future. Okay, this is all about new friendships, community involvement, tech opportunities, career pivots, collective purpose, letting go of any outdated identities, more focus on airplanes being better, navigation being better. Okay, a lot of AI technology in the future. If you didn't think it was advanced now, I saw the other day you can put acrylic nails on and you can put like a phone. This is a tarot card on top of the acrylic nail and it would change the color of the nail. So when I'm saying technology, I'm talking about things you can't even dream of, okay? Scientific innovation, humanitarian movements, social reform, changes in leadership style, the leaders, the hierarchy, even kings and queens, big issues here. Big changes. There's going to be eclipse seasons happening in these signs. This is going to really affect my Leos, really affect my Aquariuses. This is also going to have some negative, but still a learning. When I say negative, I mean an opportunity to learn. Okay, for all my Tauruses and my Capricorns, a lot of lessons for you guys. Buckle up. Okay, Taurus is not. Did I say Capricorns? Tauruses and Scorpios. Buckle up. Get ready for that. Okay. Now on the 27th. Also, again, the sun, no, because the sun has entered the basket or the bowl. The cradle. And now the sun also has some great opportunities with Neptune, being creative, being inspired, spiritual confidence, compassion, artistic inspiration, leadership through empathy, maybe trying to do stuff behind the scenes and not everyone gets to see you, that kind of energy. And the sun is also sextile Uranus. So innovation meets confidence, unexpected opportunities, career breakthroughs, new technology, fresh ideas. Confidence could be a little different, something that's not usual. It's sitting next to Jupiter. I'll talk about what that means in a second. But at the same time, remember the sun still has oppositions. It's at 4 degrees. That's a Cancer degree. It also deals with stability and structure and foundation. At the same time, it's dealing with your home security, sensitivities, a lot of emotions. Okay. Yeah. And let me see. Oh, something I didn't mention is that we have going on this week. And this one I consider a big doozy too. It's just that it's playing under the radar because we have this big bowl. Okay. So on the 29th, which I wanted to finish this month out because it's almost finished. But on the 29th, and I'll probably repeat this, is that what we have coming up is that Venus is in Virgo and it's going to square Mars. This is a lot of relationship disagreements, attraction to, having attraction to something and there's mixed feelings or there's frustrations, different love languages, spending conflicts, like you're spending money and you're not supposed to spend money, you're flip-flopping, you said you would do this and you didn't do that, passive aggressive communication, all happening. This is a mutable energy, so things are changing and maybe you don't want the change, or maybe there's a change and you want the change but it's not changing. Okay. Mutable means change. That is definitely happening. Who's not going to like this? This is not going to be liked by all my Geminis, my Virgo, not all, but the placements who are sitting close to this, Sagittarius and Pisces, you guys are not going to like this too, because there is like this change, this tension happening for you. Yeah, but relationships and war, okay? Finances and what you naturally attract, and aggression coming together head in head. And there is a challenge here, okay? Finances, your money, balance, your equilibrium, justice, fairness, aggression through words, through email, through text, through a letter. Something was said and it's aggressive, okay? There's action aggressive. Now, I want to talk about the sun conjunct. The sun conjunct Jupiter. When the sun hits at 6 degrees, it will officially conjunct Jupiter. That is on the 29th of July. Before that, you are going to be feeling it. Once the sun enters Leo, you're going to be feeling this. You're going to feel like, I could get promoted. Everyone look at me. You know what? I feel so creative. It's all about me. I have the best confidence. It's all about me. Leadership. I could be the leader, me. Okay. Just know that those things will expand. Whatever Jupiter touch, it expands. It gives more confidence. It gives you visibility. Very optimistic if we ignore Pluto sitting over there in the background. But other than that, it's leadership opportunities, traveling, teaching, publishing. Yeah, and being bold and courageous with that. But there is a huge power play here happening. We'll talk about that full moon sitting there. But celebrations and having parties, but maybe the parties are being controlled and shut down. This is a sun sign. Leo is at home in the sign. So it's very strong. And since it's very strong, it's also sitting next to Jupiter, which is very strong and potent as well, too. 6 is the number that it's sitting at. 6 represents a Virgo energy. Virgo likes to diminish. It likes to refine. It likes the details. It likes to be very analytical. Be aware of that. The same day that the sun is sitting directly on Jupiter, highlighting Jupiter things, and Jupiter represents world too. So highlighting what's happening around the world, highlighting the globe, highlighting what's happening outside of your community, highlighting things that are very philosophical and faith and religion, also highlighting the justice system and law and principles. Now, you have that happening, and now the full moon is even highlighting it even more, okay? The full moon also is releasing things. The full moon also is the climax, the zenith. It deals with the people, the moon, and also, which is very interesting because the moon is in Aquarius, but also deals with the people. Um, but it also, the moon represents emotions, security, the mom, the female. The female's not getting well with the masculine energy, which is the father. All that's happening, okay? The full moon illuminates the balance between individual, Leo, and community, Aquarius. It highlights where you need to let go of outdated roles, friendships, and beliefs to align with your future. Personally, you could be having emotional breakthroughs, endings with friendships or groups. There could be some career revelations, greater authenticity, sudden insights, a desire for more freedom and purpose. On a collective, this could be dealing with some collective power to the people, rebelling, technology and AI. There could be some major themes happening with that. We're having that all this week, so get ready for that. Public protest, because Aquarius likes to power to the people, and the people are in that sign. Community initiatives, scientific announcements, things happening with airplanes and navigation, shifts in public opinions. Who will be feeling this full moon the most? It will be all of my fixed signs: Aquarius, Leos, Taurus, and Scorpios. Anyone between the 4th and 8th degrees, you guys will be feeling it. So yeah, get ready for that. Now, also too, I want to say that this full moon is conjunct Pluto, and it's also a part of this pattern. Okay, this is I'm speechless. Because I'm just like at awe with this. If you guys, as an astrologer, to see this in the sky is just like kind of shocking. Okay. But we have the sun sitting exactly at 6 degrees with Jupiter. So everything is going to be overdoing it. Okay. And on top of that, the moon will be at 6 degrees and it will be opposing that overdoing it energy. Like I can take it all, I can do it. Being overly confident, being overly controlling and bossy. And not only that, it's conjunct Pluto. Pluto likes to have full control. And then it's a part of this bowl, which could be a collective vision, which is a lot of opportunity here that could work best for the person who's obsessed with power. Again, there it is, that obsession with power that I keep talking about. Anyway, but this moon sitting next to Pluto is power, control, community, technology, social circles, collective movements, your future vision. It opposing that sun and Jupiter. It's opposing the confidence, the leader, the creativity, the visibility, the recognition, the personal purpose. Okay. Leo says, I want to be seen. Aquarius is like, serve something bigger than yourself. Know that that is all happening. And then you got Neptune over there kissing Jupiter. So Neptune is like, oh, we're in alignment. We could be secretive. There's could be an illusion. Let's put a rose-colored lens on everyone. Let's wave a magic wand. Poof! Now they believe us. They can't see what we really want them to see. That's happening. And then power to the people, the transformation, the intensity of people boycotting, or the intensity of the future in AI, or the intensity of the people. Okay, having the intellectual energy is dealing with Uranus. Uranus likes to move very fast too. So, new ideas, unexpected conversations, technology, innovation, fresh ways of thinking. If you feel stuck under this full moon, Uranus often opens a door you didn't even know existed, because it's like, try something new, try something different, expect the unexpected. A lot of surprises with this full moon, a lot of surprises. But then there's intensity with Pluto, and then there's overdoing it with Jupiter, and then there's secretive and illusions, maybe compassion with Neptune, maybe even being creative. Emotional breakthroughs, letting go of outdated identity, new leadership, new leadership, new leadership. I'm not anti-Trump. I'm not for Trump. But new leadership, okay? I just want you to understand new leadership. And I'm not speaking of Trump. Who is Trump's leader? He is under a spell. If you guys didn't know that, Trump is under a spell. That's another video that's behind the paywall. Anyway, but new leadership, career recognition, and that new leadership is working good behind a wall with Neptune. So that won't happen with this, but power to the people with the Pluto and Aquarius. Meeting people who support your future, a clear understanding of purpose, confidence to lead and leap. You've been preparing. Now you can have faith kind of opportunity. Again, a lot of community organization, a lot of public conversations about power, innovation, and a future. Spirituality. I want you to remember that this full moon is happening in a Virgo degree. The Virgo degree is representing diminishing, refining, cleansing, healing, sacrificing, organization, routines, service, discernment, and improvement. All that's going to happen with this full moon that is dealing with our future, innovation, community, socializing, technology, social media, and freedom. The freedom will be refined. There will be healing with collective movement. There will be routines when it comes to the airplanes in the sky, in space, our innovation. So there's some discernment as well happening too. So let's see. I just want you to know that Pluto conjunct the full moon is dealing with intensity. Oop, let's bring my book up. Let's see what the book says about Pluto, okay? But Pluto is going to intensify the emotions, this climax, this zenith. Because whatever Pluto touches, it intensifies. Okay, let me see what we have here. Okay. I should do this before, and I never do. But here we are. Neptune, Pluto is last. Here we go. Extreme emotional reactions, dark and obsessive feelings. I forgot to say, Pluto represents things that are very taboo. So things on the internet that are very taboo, a tendency to brood and smolder, challenging outbursts in one's home and family life. That's interesting. I didn't expect that one. Challenging outbursts of overconfidence, of everyone look at me. My son is a Leo moon. I'm going to have to check into a hotel room that night. Anyway, emotional intensity, deep and passionate feelings, powerful, repressed energies and emotion, renewal and regenerative in one's home life and kindness during times of crisis. I read the good and the bad, just so you guys can know. Okay. But it is a full moon. There is an opposition to the ego, literally the ego, because you're dealing with that sun in Leo. Yeah, but your daily habits, your work, your health routines, your productivity, your mindset, the system supporting your goals, there's intensity with that energy. All right. So that is what we have. The universe isn't asking. Oh, you know what? No, before that, what am I thinking? Wow, wow. Doesn't it sound very, I don't know where my mind is today. But let's do some tarot of the week, shall we? Power to the people. Yes, power to the people. Then we have thank you for sharing your wonderful updates, trusting you and yours of having a super great summer so far. I am having a great summer. How was your summer, Sandra? And then we have divine healing, everyone, everything, everywhere. Stars and hearts, beautifulness, and X's and O's. Yes, thank you, Sandra. Yes, everyone, this is positive. There is opportunity to be creative and compassionate and to provide charity. There is opportunity with advancement with the future and thinking outside of the box and being a little weird, adding that intellectual and communicative energy too. Okay. Also check out my last video before I pull this tarot. I've been doing a Venus planet. Venus is a planet. My I'm still retrograding in my head. Okay. But I did video on Venus in Virgo. Okay. And I'm listening to you guys. Everyone's like, do my sign, do Capricorn, do Aries, do Scorpio. Scorpio. I'm going to do everyone. Everyone gets a turn. Okay. But as an astrologer, I'm trying to do it in order. There's an order here. So what do we have this week? Ooh, dum. If you are not seeing that, you guys, if you are listening to this via podcast, for this week, I pulled the Devil card. The Devil card represents status. Okay. Capricorn's in charge of the Devil card in Saturn. It represents I am the great, the greatest of all time. And being chained to that, being like, I have to be the greatest. I have to have my status. Be aware of that, okay? Toxic energy, obsessions, attachment, addiction, oppression, abusive, shadow self, materialism. Didn't I talk about that at the beginning of the video? Materialism, trying to obtain the material. Sexual lust. That's been on the tip of my tongue this whole video, but I try to be appropriate. But here it is. I'm saying it. Greed, because that Pluto and Aquarius is that sexual lust not behind, within the internet with AI. Be aware of that, okay? Also, greed and envy. Ooh, we have that going on this week, okay? What is the word I want to use? What can we learn? How can we curb this obsession, this addiction, this toxic behavior, feeling chained, feeling locked up, feeling imprisoned with our status? Okay, what can we do? We have the Page of Pentacles. Oh, she's so gorgeous and so pretty. She's got her light little dress on, okay? We need to be grounded, really being obsessed with the material. Change that energy and focus on what God has created as material. Being outside, being one with nature, that kind of energy, maybe even loving what the physical things you already have. Okay. But you can be ambitious, you can be goal orientated, but you need to really focus on your finances. This is someone who starts to plan, someone who starts to be consistent, someone who is loyal and faithful And there could be a message coming your way in these themes of your mental health, your physical health, okay? Routines, details. What else do we have? Your finances. There could be some messages happening. And pay attention to those messages because you have toxic energy as a collective, may not you, happening this week. What else do we have? I have two more cards. A lot of weight. We have the Ten of Wands. A lot of weight on our shoulders, feeling like you are physically exhausted, too many burdens, extra responsibilities, a lot of effort, a lot of stress, a lot of exhaustion, feeling like you are obligated, especially with that Jupiter conjunct the sun in Leo. That is someone who's saying, I'm going to do it all. Okay. Overly confident. Be aware of that happening within this week or even next week happening. But being burnt out, a lot of struggles. It's very Sagittarius, which is the ruler of Jupiter. Just doing too much and you're not putting a boundary or a restriction, or you're not being realistic or learning a lesson about taking on too many things. Okay. Lastly, we have the Two of Wands, and the Two of Wands is a lot of decisions. Ooh, we have that with Gemini, Uranus, and Gemini, right? We have Mercury that is going to stop retrograding. Thank God. So a lot of modal flip-flopping energy that stops to reduce, but Uranus is still in Gemini, so the flip-flopper is still there. But we have a lot of choices happening this week, okay? This card does represent Mars and Aries, and Mars and Aries, the Two of Wands, is about starting something new and being courageous and being assertive. But it's all about the first step, being an entrepreneur, choosing a path, future planning in the dark. Future planning in the dark. Preparing to leave comfort zone. Should I stay or should I go? This is a time for more preparation. This isn't the time to go. Okay. This week, let's just prepare. Let's just sit down. Let's take our time and move slow. Let's reduce the greatest of all time energy. Let's not try to be the greatest of all time. Let's really focus on the we. Okay. I actually have some things that I wrote here. The universe isn't asking you to become someone new. It's asking you to release what no longer aligns so you can fully step into what you're becoming to be, and also how you can help the collective. The bowl pattern is really creating a vision. It's really creating a cradle to nurture. At the same time, there's an imbalance between the people and yourself. And we need to find that balance. But I think there's going to be more of the tipping scale of it being overbalanced, underbalanced with a lot of the ego. So be aware of the ego. Now we have an Aquarius full moon. It shines a light on the future. It shines a light on the people, the collective, and wants to reduce the leader or the ego. Trust the process, stay open to change, and remember that the smallest improvements today can completely transform your tomorrow. And also, take your time and move slow. You have some choices. This is a time to step out of the comfort zone, but at the same time, research. This is a message that's coming your way that could be dealing with slowing the process, being refined, cleansing, focusing on your mental health, maybe even focus on your finances. Okay. There is a lot of heavy burdens happening. This is great because that mountain is high and you're at the tippy point of that mountain, and the next step is down, but a lot of weight on your shoulders, maybe because you have so many options. I'm not sure. We'll see how the weeks have played out. But here we have, lastly, closing out is not to be the greatest of all time, which I say 1,000 times because I want you to know not to worry about the attachment to your status, the materialism, let it go, the sexual lust, the greed, the envy, let it go, let it go, and don't hold back anymore. All right. Really think about the collective this week. I will see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching. All right. Next video will be on August, and then I have more to come. All right. Bye.